So most certainly I'm going to ask you solve by factoring. Oh, and here's the other thing about tomorrow's test, right? You're going to have that bump up opportunity for the first test, the factoring one. So I'm going to put some questions. This factoring section, if this, I might put a few more on here and make it out of 20, 23 or something, or 18. Then what I'll do is I'll treat this like a factoring section. I'll delete I'll delete a few marks from each question just so that it's just purely factoring, and then I'll average your marks from those sections. We'll do the same thing as the first test. Okay, basically. If you do really well on this section, let's say, relative to the Unit 3 test, I'll average your marks from this section and the section on the test, okay? And we'll bump it up. Maybe it'll go up 5. I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, I don't know, okay? We'll do the same thing. After I mark it, I'll hand it back to you. You hand me both tests if you did better on this section, okay? And then we'll talk about the details. Does that make sense? Fair? I think there was 23 marks or something like that. 20 marks, 19 marks on the factoring section on the test. If you got like 10, you could pull that up 2 or 3 marks anyway, maybe. Okay? Yeah, Retta?
How many points is the test tomorrow and how many pages?
I haven't written it yet.
Oh, so you don't even know.
It might be closer to the normal 4 though. Like we might start pushing this one a little bit.
Like 50?
It'd be,
60?
yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood probably. Okay?
Isn't it like the more points the better?
Maybe.
It's like less of an impact.
Maybe, unless there's just one concept that you physically don't understand and then you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Right? Because that's going to find its way into 50 marks. Okay? I wouldn't stress, well, I'd stress about it if I were you, but not to the point of concern. Like, don't stress your point till you're sick. Like, it'll be fine. It's just a little test. This isn't, I've written tests in university that were 60% of my mark. That's worth getting sick over. Not a, who cares? Okay? It's not that big of a deal. Okay?
How much is one test?
7 of them were 70% of your mark. How about 7% each?
10%
So 10% each. I'm not that I'm tired, but I've been like running at 200 miles an hour for the last hour and a bit. Talking fast. I feel pedantic and rushed.
How much coffee did you have this morning?
I finished off my jug today, so it's not here now. It's missing. Let's everybody take a breath, okay? It's all good. Doesn't matter if you didn't do well in that formative, it doesn't count. I'm not even gonna look at it. It's in there so I can look at it, but I'm not gonna count it. This is there. Doesn't matter. What counts is tomorrow. Right? So good I gave you this back, okay? Let's do these questions. Okay? This is a what? It says, okay, here's the other part that I didn't like on some of your quizzes. It says solve. If you see the word solve, you better tell me x equals something and x equals something else. Solve. Don't just factor it. That says factor. This means solve. Okay? By factoring. That does not mean write. Don't do it. No. I don't even want to see that. You just that off you go. See ya. That's not factoring. If I tell you, and here's the thing, if I tell you it's not, if I put it in the factoring section, I'm not going to make it not factorable. Okay, so don't tell me it's not factorable either. It's factorable. You better figure it out. Okay? So there's the 2 things so far that I kind of didn't like. But this is just a simple trinomial. It's this one out front. That's it. So we're just going to factor this. 2 numbers that multiply to 2, add to 1. 3. This is just, yeah, that's going to happen a few times. Just yell at me, okay? Don't yell at me in a hostile way. Just, let's say holler. Don't yell. Okay, what are the 2 numbers that make that work? 1 and 2. Okay, simple trinomials. Just write the variable in front. These are equal to 0, so you go x plus 1 times x plus 2 equals 0. Okay, I will be a little bit more strict on the test tomorrow if you leave it like that. It won't be half a mark, it'll probably be a full one.
You don't put 0?
No, not that, just if you leave it like this, and that's it, and then move on. You will get 3, maybe 2.5 out of 4 instead, Retta.
If you forget to write equals 0.
Not the 0, I'm not done yet. I mean, it says solve, right? Nobody.
What I'm saying is like here, because I forgot to write equals 0, and it says must be set to equals.
Yeah, I didn't take marks off of that.
Are you going to tomorrow, is what I mean?
Under normal circumstances, yes, I will probably still be lenient with that. What I won't be lenient with is if you don't tell me x equals -1, x equals -2. That says solve. These are your answers, solved. Right? I would like to see the equals 0 as well. For a reason we'll see in question C here. You'll see why I want it set equal to 0. Okay? Is everybody okay? That's a simple one. The next one. Yeah, go.
I don't know why I lost, but I'm kind of lost for a second. So, how do you end up with the negative numbers?
Both of those are equal to 0, right? Do you agree with that? This is what's going on. When you say solve, x plus 1 equals 0, and x plus 2 equals 0.
I didn't even move it over.
Yeah, you're just going to solve for x. X equals -1, x equals -2. Okay? That's fine. I'm sure there's more people that don't understand that, so it's good. If I don't show enough work, just yell at me, and I'll show it.
So it's much
Again, don't yell, just holler.
You show more work for that?
What's that?
You show more work for the.
That's it. There's no more work to show. Yes, Coco, is that okay? Okay, let's do the next one. Next one was a little tricky, but not like crazy. What do you always have to do when you see a trinomial or just a polynomial in general? What are you checking for? Checking for a greatest common factor. Is there something I can divide all of those terms by? Right? Once you do that, you're going to write it out front. And then you're going to tell me what's left after you factor it out or divide everything by x. So it's going to be x squared plus 5x plus 4. Now you can factor this. Okay? So you're going to get two numbers that multiply to 4, add to 5. Okay, we do the formatives on reason because, like, some of you are on the right track. We're just missing little tiny pieces. Do the formative, doesn't count. Now you can include the pieces for the summative. Just little things. Some of you. Some of you, it's bigger things, but then we just fix the bigger things as a bigger picture. And we live to see another day, basically. We just push you through. Right? We get you the big pieces, and then we worry about the little pieces later. Okay? What are the two numbers that work with this?
4 and 1.
Okay, good. 4 and 1. They're both positive, right? So this is, again, a simple trinomial, so you get to go like this. These are all equal to 0, right? Because I'm solving for the solutions. So let's deal with the easy ones first. X equals -1. X equals -4. Is that it? No, there's one more. X equals 0 from this one. What do you mean? You wonder what the answer is? There's 3 of them. Because, for reasons unbeknownst to you, there's an x cubed there, which means it crosses the x-axis 3 times. You don't need to worry about that.
What would the graph look like for that?
I'll show you there. So if I show you, it's going to scare everybody. And we don't have our seatbelts on, so not doing it.
Like, would it be like all stupid?
It's okay. It's okay. Again, I'm not allowing Retta to yell fire on the airplane. Okay, it's okay. Everybody worry, there's no fire. We're all good. There's just 3 answers for this one.
No, no.
It's okay. That's a grade 11 question. Actually, that's a grade 12 question. Okay, let's keep going. All you have to know is that there's 3 answers. Because you have 3 pieces. Okay, let's keep going. Next one. Complex trinomial. I know it's factorable because I put it in the solve by factoring section. So I need 2 numbers that multiply to. What?
24.
Ah,
Negative
-24.
24.
And add to -5. Right? Now, we find the 2 numbers that work. You could, let's go through the processes. 1 and 24, not gonna work. 2 and 12. 3 and
6 and
6 and 4.
4. Well, negative.
Okay, we could keep, yeah, 4 and 6, but we're gonna hit 3 and 8 first. Right, this is why I do this. You're just counting up, and then you're filling in this column over here with the number that works. At some point, you're going to arrive at 2 numbers, hopefully, if it's factorable, that work, right? So, when we arrive at those 2 numbers, in this case, it's the 3 and the 8. One of them needs to be negative, though. Which one's it going to be? The 8, because then when I add them, it satisfies the -5. Oh, goodness. This might be this might be the last thing I need right now.
Okay, oh,
I'm
really?
wired, yeah. That's okay.
Alright, well, thank you.
We'll see
Enjoy
you
it
later.
anyway.
Get ready, we're gonna go fast now. Okay? 2 numbers are, one's gotta be negative, one's gotta be positive, right, to satisfy that. Okay? So, am I just gonna write the variables in front of these? And be done?
No, you have to split.
We gotta split, because of what, Aiden?
There's the 5 in the middle.
Not the 5 in the middle, it's a 2 out front, right? It's not a 1 like these guys, like this one, right? So we gotta split the middle term. This is a complex trinomial. Okay, so this is no good down here underneath the numbers. That's not what you want. Okay, so we're gonna go 2x squared, and we're gonna split the middle term with the 2 numbers that I just found. Minus 8x plus 3x minus 12. Now, I thought this went relatively well. I don't think this is the part that gives people trouble. It's the factoring by grouping piece, right? We just gotta find the, break it in half. Find, remember this is all equal to 0. Okay? You're gonna find the 2 numbers, or a common factor between this piece and a common factor between this piece. What's common in the first 2? Who wants to tell me?
X. Nope.
Keep going. No, it's not wrong. There's an x in there.
Yeah, it's 2x, right?
It's 2x.
2x.
Okay, don't forget it's always, anytime you find a greatest common factor, you've always got a number piece, and you've got the letter pieces, however many of them there might be, okay? So this one's 2x, and then you're gonna tell me what's left. X minus 4. Okay? Now, here's the sticky part about this question. This is what makes this one a little bit tricky. You know you need x minus 4 over here in order for this to work. What am I going to have to take out in order to give me x minus 4? Actually, this question's not that tricky. I don't know. I oversold that. I oversold it. There might be instances where you have to like take an extra negative out to make it work. Sometimes. But the idea is that these match. That's the important part, right? Everybody like clear on that. That's okay. So this one's not as bad as I made it out to be. Okay, so what am I taking out then? Just a positive 3. Okay, now when you guys do this, some of the issues I saw like on the test, what is this? This is implying one entire line of multiplication. You take it out, you got to put the sign there too. Okay, now I have two pieces there. They're the same two pieces from before, but what's common between the two? The x minus 4, right? So divide both of them by x minus 4. Like normal, but don't forget to write it out front. And what's left after these cancel? 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. Tell me what x's are equal to. X minus 4 equals 0. 2x plus 3 equals 0. X is equal to positive 4, sorry. And 2x is equal to negative 3, so x is equal to negative 3 by 2. Okay? Paul, yeah?
Would you rather have us like keep it as a fraction?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. It's more work to type in your calculator. You know, like just leave it. That's fine there. Do we have any crazy questions? Any major issues? Okay. I have to ask you to do the factoring sections. I don't know how I'll word this tomorrow or not. I'd probably do like a separate bump. Maybe I might just do a completely separate bump up section where you guys just factor stuff, and I'll just average the two.
Oh, so one averages out with the other, you don't replace it? Maybe?
No, it always averages. It can't be a wash, right? You can't erase what's been done. You must learn from your mistakes. But to learn from your mistakes, you must be scarred by them. Hence why we average the marks. It's always there. It's a constant reminder.
If you really want to be scarred by them, you can give us a bump up if you need it.
Yeah, you want to improve yourself. Okay, let's go down to the bottom ones. You guys, sometimes like this is what I mean. Like one question, one particular concept, maybe two, is 10 marks, which is significant enough on a small test to do some damage. Okay. So that is what it is. Okay. But with this, anytime I see this, I don't want to, and this gets back to this morning's conversation, I don't want to expand this just to have to know if I have to factor. I don't even know if it's factorable after I expand it. What, are you going to expand it and write it like this? And there's a 1/4 out front and like x plus, I don't even know. Then you're going to use the quadratic equation on that? Come on. You'll be there for 3 days. Use the root method. That's why I showed it to you. Right? That's what I was saying this morning. You don't want to expand. That's why 90% of the time you don't want to expand it. If it looks like this. All you got to do is go plus. Remember, this is equal to 0 because I'm solving for what? Well, that's interesting. What happened there?
Wait, you're recording this, right?
Yes.
You have the audio on?
Yes. Yeah, you can see the mic moving there. Okay. Remember when I'm solving for the X intercepts? They're here, right? What's the Y value along here? 0. Right? Which is why I plug in 0 for Y. Now I solve. 1/4 x minus 2 squared minus 9, okay? Now, you do this in the easiest way possible. And by that I mean start dealing with the things that are the easiest to deal with. Addition, subtraction you did in junior kindergarten. Deal with that first. Add 9 to both sides. 9 equals 1/4 x minus 2 squared. In grades 3, 4, and 5, you began to do multiplication and division. Multiply both sides by 4 to get rid of the 1/4 in the bottom, the 1/4. 4 times 9 is 36, is equal to x minus 2 squared. Fast forward to grade 10, you now have started working with square roots. Do that next. Square root both sides. When you take the square root of something, you must add the plus minus. So you get plus minus 6 is equal to, the square root cancels out the squared. So you're left with x minus 2, right? So x is going to equal, you can add 2 to both sides at this point. We don't even need the brackets anymore. Plus 2 to both sides. So you get 2 plus or minus 6. X is equal to 8. X is equal to negative 4. I think that's way nicer than using the quadratic equation. I don't want to use quadratic equation. Neither do you. There's too many little pieces. It takes way too much time. Just the root method works nice. It's done. Look at. Can you imagine had you expanded that and then used quadratic equation? There'd be 40 lines there.
Can you slow down just a little bit?
Oh, sorry. Why is it like that? I gotta take a sip. Taking a little dive here in energy.
Did you buy that
No, he bought it for me.
for free?
Yep.
It was like, I'll buy you a free copy.
That's the sort of relationship I have in this school. Free coffee from everybody.
I mean, they bought you that or they made you it?
No, he bought it. You can learn a lesson from him. Buy Mr. Mackay coffee. Look at him looking. What are you doing? Okay, we good? Okay, what's the next one? I would, if I were you, check to see if it's factorable. We know it's not factorable because it was on a test. That's where it came from. You already got 3 marks for this one because he said it was not factorable from the Unit 3 test. Not factorable. 2 numbers that multiply to negative 20 and add to negative 9. Yes, Rita? Yes. Not going to work. You might intuitively think, oh, negative 5 and negative 4 because they add to negative 9, but 2 negatives make a positive 20. Doesn't work. So, once you're here, you've decided you can't factor it. There's no longer a need for that. We need to use x equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. Yes?
Are you gonna give us that equation?
Yeah, I'll put it on the board tomorrow. It's because I'm such a nice guy. Okay? Now, that's step 1, to identify that you need to use that. Step 2 is A, B, and C. Right? You could write it there. I always write a list of knowns and unknowns because it helps me. Right? I know I'm not going to make a sign error. Okay? So we just start plugging things in. X equals negative 9 plus or minus the square root of negative 9 squared. Now here's where some of you made a mistake. Minus 4. Actually, it'll be the next line where you made the mistake. A is 2, C is negative 10. All divided by 2 times 2. Okay? So we're going to get positive 9, because the 2 negatives cancel in the front, plus or minus the square root of 81 minus 2 times negative 10 is going to be negative 20. Negative 20 times 4 will be negative 80. Okay, here I'll do this. I like doing this because it shows everybody what's up. This is where everybody made the mistake. Somebody started getting the square root of 1. Okay. The highlighted red is the work that you need to do to see for it to spit out, and then we're going to have over 4. X is equal to 9 plus or minus the square root of 2 negatives make a positive. So you're going to get the square root of 161. Doesn't need to be that big. Over 4. Okay, I don't know what the square root of 161 is.
12.68.
What is it, sorry?
12.68.
16?
6.
60? 60? 68? Yes? I can't, it's hard to hear the math, son. That good?
Yeah.
Okay. So then you guys can go x is equal to 9 plus 12.68 divided by 4. And x is equal to 9 minus 12.68 divided by 4. And your x answer should be 5.42, and x should be negative 0.92. I don't want to do that. You don't either. You want to avoid that at all costs. But the thing it has going for it is it always works. Okay? But if I specify solve using factoring, don't use it, because you're not going to get any credit for it. Any major issues? Okay, that's probably the hard stuff out of the way, I would say, just because it's built on a foundation. Okay, backside of the page should go a little bit quicker, I would think. Now, most of you actually had no problem with this. The thing I did here was a little bit mean with this question. I asked you to solve for something different other than A, and that's what threw the wrench in everybody. Everybody was like, I don't know what's going on. Some of you got it, no issues. Okay. So most, I don't think too many people got less than 3, okay, for this, at least attempting it in a way that looked like we had kind of done it in class, okay? When I do these questions, first thing I do is always write down the things that it's starting to tell me in the question. So it tells me as an A value of 1/2, A equals 1 over 2. It tells me a point that the graph goes through, X and Y. So X is equal to 5. 9, oops, Y equals what? 9. Now, that covers your basis for all 3 forms of that parabola up there. It doesn't matter which one you're using. It covers your basis. So now you got to decide, okay, what information, what additional information are they providing me? It has an x-intercept of 3. If I see an x-intercept of 3, that's factored form. So then I bet my next step better be to write that on the page. Right? Your last step, it's like, okay, it told me an x-intercept of 3. It doesn't matter if it's t or s. It's one of them. You're going to solve for the other one. So let's say s is equal to 3, which must mean that t is the thing that I'm trying to solve for. Is that okay? All I've done is given you different information. I still gave you 4, and you're finding the 5th. Doesn't matter what I ask you to solve for. The process doesn't change. It's just what it is you're solving for in the end. Okay, so now, next step is just to throw all this stuff in there and solve. Okay, y is 9, so 9 equals 1/2. X is 5 minus s is 3 times x is 5 minus t. Get rid of the fraction, multiply both sides by 2. Right? So you're going to get 18 is equal to 5 minus 3. I'll do the math inside there in a sec. 5 minus t. So 18 is equal to 2 times 5 minus t. If I divide both sides by 2, it cancels that, and I get 9 is equal to 5 minus t. Okay. What would you like to do here? It's a little bit tricky. It's easy to make a sign error here with this one.
Wait, can you go back a step before you go here?
Here?
Yeah, so there. 5 and -3?
5 and the -3 turned into, I just did the math on it, it turned to 2.
Oh, okay.
Okay? Now, here's the thing. Okay, I'm going to move the 5 over. So basically, I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. Okay? So t is going to equal 9 minus 5. It's negative t though. Oh, here, one sec. Don't write that down. One sec. I'm going to leave it in the order it was in. So I'm going to subtract 5 from both sides. So it's 9 minus 5 is equal to negative t. 4 is equal to negative t. What's the problem? Is t by itself yet? No, it's not. We still got a negative 1 out front. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 1 to get it to cancel. So t is going to equal to negative 4. Okay, on the test tomorrow, I'll say rewrite the equation as per usual, right? At which point you're just going to rewrite the equation at the top with all the stuff filled in, except x and y. So it's y equals 1/2 x minus 3 times, or I'll move this over in a sec so you guys read it. I better do it now. Times x plus 4. Who's going to yell at me for the plus 4? Does anybody have an issue with it? Hopefully today, like after today, or even like the discussion around the vertex form, the minus h, everybody can kind of see why that's plus 4, because this is minus 4. So when I plug it in to here, you end up getting 2 negatives back to back. Okay, it becomes plus 4. Ibrahim?
Why did you divide by 2?
Over here?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get ultimately the end goal is to get t by itself, right? But attached to that bracket is the 2. It's 2 times the bracket. So I can get rid of the 2 by dividing both sides by 2. Does that make sense? That's how they ended up canceling. Here, maybe I'll just, you see why I did that? They end up canceling. Okay. Any major issues? There could be a question like that tomorrow. This quiz is to test tomorrow, with the exception of those two types, the word problems and the discriminant, and just a little bit longer. Okay, it'll be 50-something marks instead of 33, with the addition of those 2 questions. Okay. Okay. Got one more to do. I wasn't as nice with this question. I didn't provide it to you in factored form, but you have to switch it to factored form in order to find the X intercepts. Okay, so let's factor it. I need 2 numbers that multiply to 15 and add to 8. What are those 2 numbers? 5 and 3 sound right? Okay, this is a simple trinomial, so that you like simple trinomials because once you find those 2 numbers, you're done. It goes y equals x plus 5 times x minus x plus 3. Okay, to find the x intercepts, you set y equals 0. So 0 equals x plus 5 times x plus 3. X plus 5 equals 0. You don't have to show all this work if you don't need it. Okay, there was a couple people with graphs over here on this side, which is why I'm doing this right now. Okay, x equals -5, x equals -3. Please do not do this next. Don't do that. That is a point. You are telling me to go find that point and plot it. -5, -3 is right here. Don't do that, please. They need to be written like this. -5, 0. -3, 0. So then you can go plot them. -5. Okay. Is it opening up or down? Hopefully we don't make that mistake tomorrow. That's a freebie tomorrow. Free mark. After everything we've done today. Do you see a positive out front of that equation? Or a negative? Doesn't matter which form. Do you see a positive or negative out front? Justice. A positive. So if it's a positive, it's smiling, meaning it's opening up. Okay. Okay, next thing, axis symmetry. How do I find that? Where's the axis of symmetry occur? Is it going to be over here somewhere? Like, is this just a random line, or is there something? The word symmetry like should mean something to you guys. It's like the line that makes things equal on both sides. Where is that? I'm trying my best. Yes, Coco.
It's just like -4.
It's -4. Right here in the middle of the 2x. Oops. It breaks the x-intercepts in half. So the axis of symmetry is at x equals -4. Okay, needs to, if this is an equation of a line, it needs to be written like this. Okay, I'll be strict on that tomorrow. Okay, what do I do with that piece of information after I have it? I know somewhere along here, somewhere, I don't know where yet, but somewhere along that red line lies a y value that is the vertex. Somewhere, I don't know where it is. It could be up here, it could be down, well, it actually can't be on the top for a reason you know. It has to be somewhere down here. It could be any of them, right? How do we find specifically, how do we find the y value of any point with an x value? Plug x into the equation. Does it matter which one I pick, this one or this one? Doesn't matter. They're both the same equation, right? So plug it in. You're going to get y is equal to -4. I always pick this one because it's easier. -4 plus 5 multiplied against -4 plus 3. All right, -4 plus 5, that sounds like +1. -4 plus 3 is -1. When I multiply those together, I get -1. So my vertex is going to be -4, and the corresponding y value with that -4 is -1. And I go plot that right there. I think that's it. We got one more thing to answer. Is there a minimum or a maximum?
We can really see
The graph, you mean? That?
oh yeah, I think.
Okay. Is that a minimum? If I graph that, is that a minimum or a maximum? Minimum at -1 when x equals -4. Question's over. 6 marks. In theory, I suppose that could be worth a little bit more. It's a bigger question. Could give you more marks for that. Yes, Coco.
What happens if you don't write the 1x equals -4? Did you see that?
When x does, when x equals -4. That's more of a formality. I don't know. I should be stricter on things, but there's a lot here. If this was a normal semester, you guys would be hammered all over the place. Like, you'd be getting marks taken off for not writing x equals this. Like, for me to do that, it's a little bit, like, I'm asking you to do a lot here already, right? So I'm a little bit more lenient. This is like, we're in a funny position where we have to, like, fill holes and, like, pick our battles almost, you know what I mean, on things? It's tough. And everybody's like idea of what's important is different too, right? So when you go to have whoever for the grade 11, they might choose to emphasize that. So it's my job to show you and emphasize my preference for you to write that. And you try and write down as many things as I do for later, okay? Try to remember as much as you can. That's a small piece of the whole picture, you know? Not writing that, does that tell me you don't know what you're doing? Probably not, but somebody might think so, I don't know. They're okay?